When you graph sine and cosine, there's some key characteristics to look for in the function. Sometimes it's written like this. There's other ways to write it too. A is the amplitude. So A in this case is 1. A tells you how much you rise above and below something called the midline of the graph. You know, the line that's right in the middle. So no funny business there. Our A is 1, so that's going to look kind of like this graph. We always want to be thinking about the original graph. Sine of x looks like this. It goes to 1 for a peak and -1 for its lowest part. If this is 2, then we go up to 2, down to -2, etc., etc. B helps us calculate periods sometimes. The period of sine and cosine. It's 2 pi divided by b. But in this case, b is 1. So that means the period is just 2 pi. That means it starts repeating itself once you get to 2 pi on the x-axis. C is a horizontal shift. So since we have plus pi over 3, we're going to shift ourselves actually pi over 3 units backwards. And I'll show you why in just a second. Oops, I got 2 letter C's. D is the vertical shift. That's going to shift us down 1 unit. Okay, so up here, when x equals 0, sine is 0, right? So let's think about how to make this equal 0. If you plug in x equals negative pi over 3, then sine of negative pi over 3 plus pi over 3, that's sine of 0. So that's going to give us 0. So normally we start here for sine of x, but we backed ourselves up with that horizontal shift. We go, even though it says plus pi over 3, we go back to negative pi over 3. But then usually we start at 0, 0. Since we have a vertical shift, we're going to make our first dot 1 unit down. And this is actually our midline. Okay? D tells us where our midline is. Now we'll go up by 1 according to our amplitude. We'll go down to -2. So down 1 below. And then we're back to the start. And that should be negative pi over 3 plus 1 of our periods. That's where you should see we're back to our start. And then it repeats the process. Okay, so that's just a quick summary of how to graph sine cosine functions. You could use, to help you, desmos.com/calculator. But you'll definitely want to know like what these individual parts, the amplitude, period, and all those things are.